I've just received word that Gondamon is under siege. Welcome, this is Pineleaf Needle's Skirmisher Middle-earth. Today we'll begin our series for the Siege of Gondamon, our second skirmish. This is the second of the free skirmishes and is also the one that is a defensive oriented as opposed to Trouble in Tuckborough, which was offensive oriented. Now what I'm going to do differently is that last month I went through the skirmish with every single class to give you an idea how each of the classes may work in a skirmish. This month I'm going to go through every soldier. Now each soldier is going to be prepared with a different class. For example, I'm going to use a banner guard on my warden, and I'm going to use the archer on my burglar, etc. So you can see how each of the classes work. This is unlike last month where you saw me use an herbalist once, you saw me use a protector once, and then you saw me use an archer who knows how many times. Therefore, let us begin. Now we're going to do this through the advanced. We're going to choose Siege of Gondamon. Now since I only have 4 skirmishes available, I get a 15% bonus. Now if I had more skirmishes available, that would be down to a 10% bonus, which is the minimum bonus you get when you select only a single skirmish. Now if I'm running normally and not for video, I will probably choose a few more to get a better bonus, up to 50%. Now we're going to try this at tier 2, so we get an idea how it works, but I suspect that my equipment is going to be pretty good for level 25, though not as outstanding as it was relative to level 20. Why? Because I have the same javelin I had before, and some of my other equipment is the same, though you did see me buy some on the previous video, a couple of pieces of medium armor at the skirmish camp. So let us enter and be ready.
The Dowerhands have forged an alliance with the Blue Crag Goblins and have laid siege to Gondamon for nearly 2 weeks. The final assault will soon be launched.
And here's my soldier, a banner guard, who is way up in forward of me. Now my banner guard is named Buttercup. I did promise that I would rename her before I started the first skirmish. So now let us continue. And he gives his speech to everyone. And these 3 are the gate guards, and we'll be fighting with them along the time. Here we have a hunter trainer. These are various folk you run into in Gondamon. A champion trainer, and a Gondamon guard. The Gondamon guard is the red shirt of the group. I've seen them die more often than any other. And I am starting out at the north. Now let's see how well the banner guard works here. Now, let's see. I right now am using the tanking stance. What happens if I go into recklessness? Now here we have a lieutenant. We get lieutenants as a possibility every other wave, but you don't always get one. There's about a 75% chance of getting a lieutenant. Sometimes you get them in most of the runs. Sometimes they're rare. Now here's my war cry to hopefully get some of those crawlers out of there. Oh, the crawlers are still there. Oh, they were way in the back, and crawlers way in the back are the ones that I have trouble getting to. Now they change every single time. Well, they don't necessarily change every single time. They are randomly chosen, So you've got about a 1/3 chance of getting the same one. Now you'll see later that it's not 100% random, since there are some encounters that are based on a certain wave being at a certain location. So therefore, there will be an adjustment to the randomness based on that idea. Now we're going to see a few more lieutenants here. Gondamon has every single lieutenant that you can have in a skirmish. Therefore, we'll be seeing a few more than we saw in Tuckborough, which Tuckborough has a relatively small number of them. There are a total of 14 lieutenants you can get in solo runs. Here we are given a break and stay at the same place. This way I can get a little help from the elf. And that the banner guard, of course, makes sure that the elf doesn't have a chance to get anything in edgewise. So if you want to get help from the elves or the dwarves that are guarding the gates, then you might not want to use someone that goes way up in front. And here we have a death monger, so we're still only seeing lieutenants that appear in Tuckborough. Alright, there you go. Thank goodness I have my spear mastery now. Let's see. Actually, I got decent power still, so maybe I can stay in recklessness for a while. Usually when I'm in recklessness, I run out of power, but maybe that's not as much trouble with this character as my other wardens. Now, of course, there's also the possibility of morale loss, since that would be typical, and that I'll be getting hit more often in recklessness. Now, of course, getting in range, while at the same time keeping my banner guard close enough, is a real challenge there. And my banner guard is taking a hit. Alright. That's the first assault. Gondamon is the marathon, you could say, of skirmishes, in that there are a total of 24 waves in the first 3 assaults. The last assault works differently, which is why I'm counting that a little bit differently. There are 4 waves, but they come from 2 different directions, so I think of it as having 8 waves in 4 batches, rather than just 4 regular waves. You'll get a better idea when we get to the end. But we'll have 2 more assaults with the regular waves, where we are moving back and forth or occasionally staying in the same place. And it looks like we're doing a lot of same place right now. Here's the Troll Wound Taker, whose little thing is to go around healing people. He'll pound against the ground and heal his friends that are nearby, which can be a little bit annoying at times, so I like to kill Wound Takers as quickly as possible. Alright. Now that is our second wave. I'm going to count waves here, simply because this is going to help to keep track of possible encounters. We didn't get an encounter in the first assault, though it is possible to get one. So I want to go and find the other possibilities, and they are going to be based on wave numbers. So we have one encounter that always happens at the third wave, which, since the third wave here was north, it wouldn't happen at this particular item because that would require the third wave to be in the south area for that encounter to happen. Now this is the fourth wave, and the first one today that did not have a lieutenant here. I mean of the even number ones, since the even number ones are the ones where you can have the lieutenants. This is number 5. Now this means that we're not going to get the Western Gate encounter, because the Western Gate encounter is always triggered after the 5th one. And we're not going to get the North Gate encounter because the North Gate encounter is triggered at the 6th, and the 6th is being fought at the West. Now it is possible that they may get triggered during the 3rd assault, since you have a chance in each of the assaults for it to happen. So in the 3rd assault is when you could have a non-random situation happen. Yeah, I was afraid of that. Oh, okay, I managed to kill him. That's the advantage of recklessness. You kill things a little bit faster. And since I have a heavy armor soldier, of course being slightly drunk at the time might have also helped, since I do more hits then. Alright, once again, we've only seen one new lieutenant so far. And now this is the 8th that we're hitting into. Yeah, here's number 8. Oh, the Zealot of Pain. You know what he does by now, I guess. Alright, I'll tell my soldier to attack. And that's it. Now there is a encounter that can be triggered at the end of the 2nd assault that goes right there. But that did not happen. So, 2 assaults, no encounters yet. During the 3rd assault, we will be able to see perhaps one of the gate ones. There has to be at least one gate one during the next assault, because there's only one non-gate encounter that remains, since the one that comes outside of the one that goes right there can only be triggered at the end of the 2nd assault. Alright, we are ripping through them pretty quickly. And that is saying that I am still a little pretty much well equipped. Of course, finding that Great Barrel's armor, I'm sure helped a little bit. And let me give myself that plus 17. 15 agility, which is very useful. Okay, here is the red shirt, trying his best to die. Yep, he did it. I told you, he was the red shirt. And that's the disadvantage of being in recklessness. I was so focused on doing damage, I didn't think about getting aggro off of him. Which, if the Gondamon guard, is not a good idea to ignore that. Oh, we have a third wave here in the south, which means I suspect we're going to see an encounter here. Yep, there he goes. But the next group of enemies is coming from the west, which means what I am going to do is I'm going to get his attention. And then I'm going to run up here, because we've got a lieutenant here who's going to make mincemeat of... Oh, good grief. It definitely is going to make mincemeat of this poor champion here. And this is the Daywalker Berserker. Oh, he's still alive. Oh, maybe... Oh, he's fighting someone else. I was hoping that last person was dead. Unfortunately not, and that is 2 guards down. This is not going to help me all that much. Well, okay. So much for Daywalker Berserker. Oh, yes, right. He's still alive if he... Now, the Daywalker Berserker has 20 seconds of immunity. Alright, I'm going back in the tanking stats. Now, where is my... Where did Buttercup go? Alright. Since I've managed to lose 2 guards already, now I'm back south where I actually still have a guard that's alive. And I also have a flag to pick up. And another Daywalker Berserker. Oh, whippity-dee-doo. Now he's immune to damage, but fortunately he is still allowed to pick up threat, so therefore I'm doing that a couple of times to make sure that no one gets his attention too much. Yeah, Daywalker Berserkers at tier 2 are a little bit tough. I remember the first time I ran Gondamon at tier 2. It was the Daywalker Berserker that did me in. Alright, another one from the south. And I'll pick up this little thing here. Now that was number 6, so we're not going to get anything from the north. So that means that the last encounter is going to be the one at the north gate. Not the one that is done by the flags, but a completely different north gate one, which I'll show you if we're in that area. It looks like I will be in that area. Now, I'm only going to do one of the 2 encounters today because this encounter can get annoying when you face off with the final assault. Well, if I'm in tanking mode, I might as well do my get their attention items. And the reason I'm facing this way is I'm going to be running this way very quickly after I kill the last of these. Yep. And now here's the final encounter. This goblin right here. Now the gate guard that survived is safe. In other words, that elf hunter. Now usually when I fight this one, I pull them over to the main platform, because I'm not going to kill them that quickly. At higher levels I won't be able to, but at this level I can. So therefore I just killed him and came here afterwards. Now here we get our double assaults. Our double rounds. You get one coming down this way, and another one comes down from the stairs. As you can see, the red dots here all lining up. Looks like a lieutenant in tow. A keg master. Alright, so far we've seen old ones plus trolls. Alright. Alright, back upstairs. Now the opponents coming down from the stairs, they're coming from the same three areas that they would have before. The trouble is, though, you don't get a warning as to which gate they're coming down from as you would in the... Okay, this is going to be fun. The Echo of Death. Yes, this is a new lieutenant, very definitely. Now, the Echo of Death puts a debuff on you that causes you to take... Okay, I'll let Buttercup have that one, and I'll take care of the Echo. Echo of Death puts a debuff on you that causes you to take extra damage from range sources and from melee sources. And when you do this, so if you go and damage an Echo of Death and he gets this reflect on you, you can take a lot of extra damage if you're trying to kill an Echo of Death while at the same time tanking other things. Oh, here's a Forceborn Reaver. Now, Forceborn Reavers don't like soldiers. They attack them. They go enraged, attack the soldier, and do an interesting backflip when they get knocked down on the ground. Fortunately, he did not see my soldier there, it looks like, so he didn't go into his usual rage. When he goes into a rage, he A, goes after a soldier, and B, does a lot more damage. Alright, which one is... Alright, there are a couple of goblins there, but it looks like they're coming up the stairs pretty quick. Oh, oh. I went and hit the shepherd. Silly me. Alright, someone went and killed those. Oh. Apparently that war cry eventually killed them off. It just took time. Oh, wait, who's left? Oh, a lobber is left. I think that might be the last one. Yes? Here comes the general. Now, this is going to be a tricky one. Now, usually I like to go after the Drake first, but this time I'm going to see if the Banner Guarder is smart enough to go straight for the general. She seems to be close enough to it. See, there's the Drake right there. Yep. Good. I figured she was going to go after the general most likely, so I'll stay away from it. Now, this is what you usually do in raids, for example. You stay away from the Drake and hope that the Drake doesn't come in until you've finished off the general. Oh well. A bit late on the kick there, I guess. Now actually in a raid you will have two Drakes that you go. There'll be another one back there in a raid. But in all other sizes, full fellowship down, you only have to worry about one of them. Oh yes. She moved right there. Now normally, I like to start with an ambush of the Drake, but that's a bit tough to do with a banner guard rushing right in front of you. And there is Gondamon complete. Loot. Oh, what a surprise. Veterans recruit, I know. That's what we get every time. Oh yes. You do get, well, normally you get 3 cheering you, but 2 of them died. But the elf is still alive. That gives you an idea how well you did by how many of them survived at the end. And that is our first run at Siege of Gondamon at Tier 2. As you could see that I was successful in getting through it without too much trouble, but I was not entirely successful because part of your reward is based on how many of your friends survive. And in this case, only 1. So I only got 1 mark. I know I also had survival from Matthew survived, but he is mandatory. You cannot win if Matthew dies. The only one that survived of the 3 gate guards, though, was the elf, and you get extra marks based on how many of those survived. Soon we'll go and check for each of the other soldiers that you can have. So next time I'll run a burglar with an archer, and then I'll go with an herbalist, a protector, a sage, and a warrior. Now you have seen me run with a protector and an herbalist when I was running with Tuckborough, but you have not yet seen me run with a sage or a warrior. Yes, I know, in the tutorial of Prancing Pony, when they had that quick little version of it, you saw me work with a warrior, but not in a real skirmish. So next time, I'll do a burglar with an archer. This is Pine Leaf Needles. May your shield protect you, and your spear never break.